Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. My name's Adam, and today we're going to be reviewing the movie Hacksaw Ridge. Hacksaw Ridge is a true story and a war film directed by Mel Gibson, and it also stars Andrew Garfield, Teresa Palmer, Vince Vaughn, and Hugo Weaving. So this is a war film, and when it comes to war films, you can kind of think of them almost as their own genre. They're a little like superhero films just because there's mainly just a lot of them out there. They're made quite often, mainly because they're always well received and make good at the box office. And most of them are actually pretty good. It's one of the few genres where it has very consistently good movies. I think that's mostly because like we try to just respect war films just because it's a heavy subject and we feel like we have to like do good by them. But even though there's a lot of really good war films out there, there's very few that are considered like fantastic classics. Movies like Apocalypse Now or Saving Private Ryan, those are very few and far between. Just in recent years, we've gotten films like Fury or American Sniper, and those are good, but I don't think they'll be remembered as much. However, I can say this movie, Hacksaw Ridge, I believe, without a doubt, will become a very, very great classic film of the war genre. So, where do I start with this movie? This movie, basically, it's two movies in one. The first half is basically the story of our main character, Desmond Doss, about how he grows up, his life back home, how he meets his wife, and his story of how he enlists in the army and has to basically convince everyone that he is not a coward because he won't kill anyone. Basically, he has a no guns, no killing rule because of something that happened in his past. So he's basically Batman. So in this movie, Spider-Man becomes Batman, which is really awesome. And then the second half of this movie is basically the Battle of Okinawa at World War II at Hacksaw Ridge. This movie is directed by Mel Gibson, and Mel Gibson's a bit of an interesting guy. He's done some weird, questionable things. I won't go into them, but I think one of the things we can agree on is that he's a very skilled director. His movie Braveheart, it's probably one of my favorite movies of all time, very, very close up there. One of the things I really like about him is that he never really holds back, and it really shines through here because Hacksaw Ridge is probably his best film to date, or very close. I think Braveheart might be just a very small smidge above it, but it's right there. So this film is absolutely fantastic. However, I do want to preface one thing before saying anything else. This movie is extremely violent. So if you do not like violence or blood or guts or gore or anything of the very violent nature, I would caution you to go see this movie because it's a little rough to get through. Like I usually don't mind that much violence in movies, but this was very violent. It was probably Mel Gibson's most graphic film, and that's really saying something because he made Passion of the Christ. And it hits you like a truck, too. I mean, the first half, like I was saying, that's the story of how he grows up and enlists in the army. It's pretty mild. There's a couple, like, punches or something like that in there, but it's mainly mild and happy. And then they go up the cliff at Hacksaw Ridge, and then boom, it just nonstop carnage from there. So the performances in this movie are all fantastic, and it's probably one of the strong points. Andrew Garfield plays Desmond Doss, the lead character. And I would say this is probably his best performance to date. He probably wanted to like make everyone forget about the mediocre Amazing Spider-Man films, so he did this, and yeah, he got his wish. We all forgot about them. He is definitely going to be nominated for an Oscar, and I actually wouldn't be too surprised if he actually won that Oscar. Teresa Palmer and Hugo Weaving are also supporting characters in this movie. Hugo Weaving plays his father, and I really like seeing Hugo Weaving in any movie basically, but he was really good in this one as like a drunk father guy. And then Teresa Palmer, who plays his wife, this is probably her best performance too, and I really liked her. Also, they found a use for Sam Worthington. They can finally make use of his emotionless, stoic performances as an army dude. So you found your role, Sam Worthington. Good job. But the main guy I have to talk about here is Vince Vaughn. I did not know Vince Vaughn was in this movie when I went to go see it. And when he walked on screen, I was so confused. I was like, why is Vince Vaughn in this movie? And then, like, he plays this basically really harsh drill sergeant. And it is the most beautiful, brilliant, hilarious thing you have ever seen. All of his scenes are just absolute gold, and he is so awesome. He's probably one of my favorite parts about this movie. So yeah, good job, Vince Vaughn. Do more roles like this. If I had to pick any negatives out of the film, I basically have none. If I had to nitpick a little, I would say that the last 10-ish minutes are a tad rushed. They kind of montage through a couple things, but that's just an observation, really. The movie could have been a tad longer, but it doesn't really detract from the film. It doesn't really change that this movie is a complete emotional train ride. It's beautiful to watch all the violence happening on screen because Mel Gibson directs it with such passion. The performances are absolutely great. The visuals are stunning. The story is so compelling. This is probably the best film I've seen all year. I highly, highly recommend it. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. Go see it. Just bring a barf bag with you.
Yeah. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing.